Welcome to the 1UP Nitro National Series first road course race of the season, race number 3 of 25. We are here at the beautiful Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. A beautiful 20-turn, 3.4-mile road course that's going to test even the most skilled drivers at a place they've never set foot on until today. And alongside me to bring you all the action is Miles Mashburn for today's race. It's great to have you with us. This is going to be a big challenge from the mega climb up to turn 1, where drivers are going to be fanning out 3, 4, 5 wide into the corner, to a lot more braking zones further along down the lap, and a pit stop for good measure. A lot of these drivers are going to have their work cut out for them, but that's what we love to see about in 1UP racing.
Yes, it's a very interesting track, a very skill-based track. One where you have to have a little bit of everything to succeed, so it's going to be a good one.
For sure, and we got a very stacked lineup here for this race. We can bring it to you now. Bronson Minnick gets his first pole in Nitro National competition in the 32. He lines up inside row 1. Next to him, Braden Varga in the Team Duke Zero car, trying to make some noise after a slow start to his season. Tegan Fox, Brie Blair in the 09 making her first start of the season, and Jake McMillan complete the top 5, but we've got a lot of big names starting further down the order. We've got J.D. Martin in the Robbers Racing 72 this week, starting 29th. Ryan Griffin, a perennial contender in the Nitro National Series, starting all the way back in 36. He doesn't like this kind of track type, and that pretty much shows why. But as we've seen in plenty of races here before, you can make a lot of gains on the opening corner here. With the field making their way through turn 20 here at Circuit of the Americas, Bronson Minnick and Braden Varga getting ready for what's going to be a chaotic first corner. I'm pretty sure of it based on what we've seen already. The pace car's in pit road, the field faces the restart zone, and the flagman's got the green flag in hand. We're underway here at Circuit of the Americas. Cody Goforth from 9th place pops out of line. Watch out for him in the opening corner as the field already makes a big move into the corner. We've got a crash further back. Ashton Blevins and Mike Edwards sideways going into turn 1. Everybody else steers clear.
Yeah, I was thinking that turn 1 would be one of the most important turns of the race, and I think that proves it right there. We had a crazy pass for positions, a wreck that's going to set drivers back for the rest of the day, and
we got more!
Maston
Rimmel, Ryan Griffin, Ashton Blevins again! That's going to sideline the 21, put him out of the race on the opening lap. That's a heartbreaker for Ashton Blevins in his first road course start of his career. Ryan Griffin with some damage as well, and they're already falling behind. That's what we feared going into this race, was all these drivers and going into such a tight space. We had a feeling, though, that this was a possibility.
Yeah, and there's just not much you can do about it. Sometimes you have those races, but it's a very chaotic turn 1, and it's still looking chaotic. They're backing up into the corner.
Yep, turn 11, Kev Shearer in the 20. That's both the full-time JHM racing cars with significant damage on the opening lap. Kev Shearer, who won last week at Worldwide Technology Raceway, now he is way off the pace in the 20 car. We hope he can continue on in this race, but with that much damage, it's going to be tough for him. Ryan Arnold's got some damage in the 10 car. Elijah Ironhouse with a little bit as well. Ryan Reed, who started 7th, now all the way outside the top 20. Anthony McClure in the 54 with a lot of damage as well. And this is without even mentioning the battle for the lead, which has changed hands since the start of the race. Bronson Minnick started on pole, but now it's Braden Varga with the lead, as Logan Williams with significant damage. His day might be over as well.
So much damage on these cars, and it's not even been one lap. There's just a lot of close contact in the opening laps when you have so many cars going through these very tight corners.
Yeah, and you see Logan Williams make the left turn on the pit road, and I wonder if he's going to be able to continue on in this race. John McFadden in the 27, he stays out with the damage he sustained. Benjamin Snyder heading pit road, Ryan Arnold, Kenneth Grant, Andrew Langley, Austin Hillard are all heading towards the pit lane, and some of them will probably be able to continue, others might not be so lucky, and we can confirm that Ashton Blevins likely going to be out of the race as a result of his contact, and Logan Williams done for the day as well.
Well, only one lap into the race, and several cars heading down pit road. As you see the Zero out front with a good lead, he was able to get away from that early scuffle pretty much unharmed.
Yeah, Braden Varga doing a nice job. He's been kind of overshadowed by his teammates in the first few races of this season. Of course, Elijah Ironhouse led all those laps at Daytona, and then you had the Earl Sear, Logan Williams come up through the field at Gateway. But Braden Varga's been a bit of a sideshow so far in this race. Not today. He's got a lap nearly 2 seconds faster than anyone else on the racetrack. And now it's Blair giving chase in the 09, making her first start of the season in the 09, formerly driven by Brayhan Stojanovic.
Now that we're all spread out, we're really going to see what cars have the most speed here. In the beginning, it was all about getting through all of that chaos. As you see a car really send it in deep.
That's the 78 of Tegan Fox, who was very close to disaster, slamming into the back of the 09 like that. But no harm, no foul. Everybody's able to continue. And this 01 car, Cody Goforth, did a great job on the opening corner. He jumped 5 spots on the opening lap, and right now he's running very solidly in the top 5. But a lot of other drivers we thought were going to be contenders today now have a lot of work to do.
They have to salvage those races, but now we see cars running at their full speed. Will Varga be able to hold on to that 2-second gap, or the other cars going to be able to run faster lap times?
Well, we'll see now, because Braden Varga has a clear track in front of him, but to be fair, so does the 09 of Blair, because there's a 2-second gap between them. We'll see what it is at the line here between the 0 and the 09. It doesn't look like it. Oh yeah, it's gained 3 seconds now, the margin between Varga and Blair. Tegan Fox and Cody Goforth hot on the heels of the 09, but this is still very early in this race. We're only 2 laps in, starting lap 3 of a 17-lap race here at a very long racetrack, so don't count any of these drivers out yet.
So not only did Varga have a great start, he's got a great car. Now we'll have to see how much he can hold on to that lead. The gaps can get pretty big here at COTA, but there's also a lot of opportunity for mistakes and incidents and comers and goers.
Plus, there's a pit stop sequence to throw into the mix. With these guys should be able to go about halfway through this race, 8 or 9 laps before having to come in. That'll decide a lot to do before the end of this race, I'm sure, depending on who gets a fast stop and who doesn't. Riley Hooper, you see, with a little bit of damage on the rear of that car, shouldn't slow him down too much. Ryan Reed, he fell from the top 10 to now just inside the top 20 in that 28 car. He's got a little bit of damage on the front. And man, Aiden Clare in the 00 did a great job navigating through all the carnage. He started this race back in 21st. Now he's knocking on the door of the top 10.
Yeah, you saw a car earlier getting to the grass a little bit. These drivers are using every little bit of the track that they possibly can to run the best laps, and that can be a little bit risky. They have to do, like I said, a little bit of everything to have the greatest laps here.
Oh, and we got some significant damage on the 78 of Tegan Fox. Did she get onto the brakes again in the turn 12, slammed into the back? Look, yeah, they did. Because look at the 09 with some severe damage on the back of that car. Tegan Fox from 3rd place could be out of it here.
And we saw that car do a big stint earlier in the race too. He must have had a similar situation that has led to some heavy damage for even more cars, this time cars up near the front.
So we'll see what happens, but Tegan Fox did not need this to happen. They were having such a poor start to the season. 2 races, 2 DNFs. Could it be 3 for 3 here for Tegan Fox? We're about to find out, because they've pulled it down the pit road, and if it likely will be another DNF for Tegan Fox, and that is a shame. 3 DNFs in a row to start the season is not what this 78 team deserved.
But this does allow Cody Goforth in the 01 to get into 2nd. He started back in 9th, so he has had a good time today with all these cars, issues, and having a great start.
Yeah, Cody Goforth's doing a good job. He's up to 3rd now. He's still got to get past Blair, who does stay on the racetrack with that damage. That's the one good positive about COTA. You can have some damage on your race car and still put in some decent lap times. It's just when the damage becomes terminal under the hood is when you have to pull out of the race. But so far, that 09 is able to continue, and that's going to be a big hurdle for the Cody Goforth 01 to get around.
Braden Varka's lead seems to be expanding even more. He's just running some great laps right now. We see the 09 in the distance. Like you said, he's able to keep up even with the damage. Yeah, it looks like Zero is running some of the fastest laps in the race as well.
However, he doesn't have the fastest lap in a race anymore. Kenneth Grant in the 53 put in a great lap out of the pits after he had to pit for damage. He's now got the point for fastest lap, so it's not going to be a clean sweep for Braden Varga today if he does manage to lead the entire way, which we've seen in various races here before. But the gap is 3.5 seconds between Varga and Blair, and with Cody Goforth hot on her heels, this is going to be a really tight battle for second, which could become a battle for the lead after the pit sequence.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. It may have the leader stretching out to 3.5 seconds, but that time could be lost depending on how this pit stop goes. You also have possibly some battles that could be forming here in the top 5, which if that gets too aggressive, then the Zero could pull away even more.
And I noticed further back in the field, Henry Thomas had joined the battle for second place in that 12 car. He started on pole for the race at New Jersey Motorsports Park last year, so he knows his way around the road courses. Jake McMillan holding a solid 5th, kind of running all by himself at the moment. Pole sitter Bronson Minnick has fallen to 6th, but he can easily make up that ground on the pit cycle. He's now 10 seconds off the lead. The gap at the front between first and second now 4.5.
Gaining a second a lap. Such a long track too, so that makes up a big difference in area. So Zero's got this track all to himself, and he can just run as good as he wants. It's really going to come down to the lack of mistakes and a good pit stop here. We got some really exciting racing here in the top 5 right now, with Cody Goforth and Henry Thomas slipping into the mix.
Yeah, and you see them cutting turn 8 as close as they dare, but without getting onto that grass, because that's very slippery down there. You see a battle between Robert Weaver and Bronson Minnick, that's for 6th spot. James Ellison hanging on to the final spot. Well, actually, he's just outside the top 10 currently in 11th place. But that's still a good effort from that 31, who will admit is not the greatest on road courses, but he's putting in the effort here, make it a solid run. So you look a little bit through the field, but the closest battle on the top 10, I believe, is that battle for 6 between Minnick and Weaver.
I'm seeing things tighten up between second and third, with about half a second gap as well. And that's definitely allowing Braden Varga to pull away even more, probably above 5 seconds now.
And we're going to have a lap car in the mix. Maston Rimmel in the 1. He had some pretty big damage at the start of the race. He's been in and out of the pits. Mike Edwards in the 60 as well. They're probably going to be caught by Braden Varga sooner rather than later. And my question is, once they do get caught, how much of a factor will they be in either helping or hindering the Zero's lead?
Lap traffic is always a big factor in these races, and you're right, it's going to be a big deciding factor here when it comes to Braden Varga's lead. These cars are just trying to get a few extra laps in to try and salvage some spots in case other cars have issues. But, you know, they could get in the way of these much faster cars.
Yeah, and you can see the straight line speed on the 1 is nowhere near what it is on the 0. We'll see what the gap is between first and second at the line. It's grown by another 0.4 of a second. It's almost 5 even heading up the hill to turn 1 and then back down towards 2 and 3. Braden Varga so far has this race in control, but any moment could change this entire race, as we've seen.
Things are still pretty tight between second and fourth. If that 0 closes in on the lap traffic, it's going to be, you know, interesting here if what lane the lap traffic picks, if they'll let the 0 by easily, or if the 0 will have to find a way. We've seen it get very aggressive on the start, and I think even when it comes to a lead lap car in lap traffic, that things could get a bit dicey depending on what part of the track that this happens at.
It looks as though Braden Varga will catch the 1 car on the back straightaway because of the stark difference in straight line speed between the 1 and the 0. We'll see, and plus getting a bit of draft off the 1 as well. Yeah, Varga's going to easily catch. It should be a fairly simple pass down the back straightaway. pulls out to the left-hand side, he easily makes the pass, and Varga can resume his racing. The question is, how much time did that simple pass cost him?
Not sure if it cost much time, but I'm wondering more about the cars behind him when they catch that lap car. They're closer for position, and that could really shake things up, especially if that lap car gets caught in the middle of a battle.
Yeah, and this is a place where you really don't want to catch a lap car. This stadium section here, as we got a battle for fourth on our hands. Jake McMillan getting underneath Henry Thomas in the 12. He's trying to make the move stick. Thomas taking a lot of runoff out of the corner as we head towards turn 16.
Yep, there's that battle that I was talking about. It's been very competitive in the top 5 right now. They're still about 5 seconds behind Braden Varga, but there are definitely some other very fast cars. And with how much time we have left in this race, plus that pit stop cycle, I think Varga, there's a fair chance he could have some challengers in the second half of this race.
And I believe it could come from any one of these 2nd through 5th place cars. Maybe even Bronson Minnick or Robert Weaver if they get the chance to gain some time on the pit stops. But you see Blair trying to make her way through turn 1 here. That rear end damage, it shouldn't be that big a factor on the 09, especially at a road course. But with that spoiler all bent out of shape, that could easily be a detriment, especially in the high-speed corners like this one.
And we saw straight lines make a big difference when it came to the heavily damaged one car and the leader. So you're right, if she's going to get past, it could happen. Could happen on a straight.
Yeah, and they've already caught the one, so it's going to be... this is going to be a straight part as well. I think they're going to catch him just going into turn 11. That's going to be a rough spot to be caught by Maston Rimmel, and you can see, whoa, almost contact between the 09 and the 1. They're both the 09 and the 01 gonna try and have to make their way past down the back straight, and here goes Blair trying to get past.
Yeah, the 09 probably could have made the pass on the low side back there, but they were able to get a good run, which could help them gain some ground on the 01.
Yeah, but Cody got around the 1 car just as quickly, if not faster. So maybe he's able to gain a little bit of time here. We're also not that far away from our green flags pit cycle, which should be coming in the next lap or 2, maybe 3 if they really want to stretch it. But it's been interesting to watch the back and forth of this race, because Braden Varga's gap has grown to 5.5 seconds now. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to catch him on the cycle unless the 0 car has a dreadful stop.
Yeah, first through 10th are about 18 seconds apart, so a lot of the chance that these teams have to gain positions is going to come from pit stops, and when they hit pit road, that there's a lot of factors that'll come down to the running order following the pit stop.
But so far, everybody stays on the racetrack, at least as far as the leaders are concerned, as Henry Thomas took the inside line through turn 20 to get by that 1 car of Maston Rimmel. Goforth, meanwhile, hard on the brakes up to turn 1, trying to make the pass on the 09, nothing doing on this occasion.
Yeah, the 01 seems to be faster these last couple laps, but it's going to be interesting to see. You saw that incident when we were looking at a pass in the top 5 earlier that gave heavy damage to a car. And we got to see if something like that could happen again.
You notice a little bit of damage on the front of the 66. I don't think it's going to impact him too much. He's already doing a fantastic job running in the 7th position, but you never know at this place, because we're looking to see. Yeah, we've got one in the pits already, and it's John McFadden in the 27. He was running in the top 10 earlier in this race. This stop is a bit lengthy. It's going to cost him a lot of track position, but he should be able to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, we're going to see cars pit earlier than others, and I feel like maybe only time will tell to see if pitting earlier could be an advantage as compared to pitting later. But another big factor are the pit stop times, and it does seem like there was a rough pit stop there.
Yeah, that 27's now got a big hole to dig himself out of, but he did have a great qualifying effort today. That's a good sign of things looking up for that 27 bunch. But back at the front of the field, we're closing in on half race distance, and Braden Vargas closing in on another lap car, this one being the 60 of Mike Edwards, the Adventure Motorsport rookie. We'll see if Vargas is able to get by. Remember, this is not Braden Vargas' first time running up front in a one-up event. He won in the Superstar Series in Vermont last year. You were the one he passed for that win, but this guy has a lot of talent under him, and he's showing it here today.
He sure is. He's just pulling away lap after lap, having a good qualifying run and a good start, and he's gaining almost a second a lap now, over 7 seconds. It's going to grow very soon, but on the ticker. But we're seeing him doing good, getting around this lap traffic as well.
Yeah, we'll see what the margin is between first and second in a moment, but the problem now is he's going to catch this 60 car in the S's, and that is not a great place to catch lap traffic at this circuit. Although you notice that margin we were talking about, it's gone down by a tenth, so maybe this Zero is burning up some of his stuff trying to get by this lap traffic, and I bet now he's begging to make a pit stop.
Yeah, track location matters a lot because you have a lot of long straights, but also a lot of S's and a lot of tight corners as well. So the part of the track where you end up having to get around these lap cars make a big difference. And we've seen straight would be the ideal place, and it looks like this is going to be the opportunity for Varga to get around him right here.
Oh, but Edwards throws the block on Varga going into turn 11. That is not going to make the Zero driver very happy behind the wheel to Gainbridge Chevrolet. He pulls out now to make the pass, and I'd imagine there's a bit of a hand gesture going out the window towards that 60 car. But either way, pass is made. Varga gains another spot.
Yeah, it's got a big lead, but something like that is not what you want to see when you're the leader. You're losing time, and all of that time can be valuable when it comes down to the end of the race, even when you have an 8-second lead.
And I would expect, yeah, Cody Goforth's gaining a lot of time as well behind this 09 car. I think the 09 is actually holding up the 01's progress. Remember that race at New Jersey Motorsports Park I mentioned earlier? Cody Goforth won that race. So he is no stranger to winning on the road courses. He'll admit this isn't his best track type, but he's shown success here. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do if he's able to get past this blue and white 09.
Yep, that's still a battle we're looking on as we're getting closer and closer to the pit stops as we're halfway through the race. The gap's still about 8 seconds, maybe a bit lower. The leader hits pit road now. Here
he comes, Braden Varga. Moment of the race, potentially, right here. As Braden Varga hits pit road, Blair and Goforth follow him in. So the leaders are all going to pit together. It's all going to come down to track time. Actually, Bronson Minnick in the 32, our pole sitter, is going to stay on the racetrack, try and get a bonus point for leading a lap here.
Yep, here's where the strategy comes into play. You don't want to enter pit road when there's too much traffic. It's only a few takers that are going down right now. But we'll have to see how big the fall off is that those cars could be losing time compared to if they had fresh tires sooner.
Yeah, you see Nicky Martinez was one that stayed out. Kanalka in the 7 car. Devin Fair was one of them. J.D. Martin, Elijah Ironhouse. But look at this. Blair in the 09 has lost some positions off pit road. Now it's Goforth up to second on the road.
Varga's still up front, but yes, that pit cycle did lead to some very important changes in the top 5. I believe Henry Thomas gained some spots as well. So this is going to shake things up in the second half of the race with a change in track position for a lot of these fast drivers, and I'm sure a lot of drivers further back in the field as well.
Yeah, you see the 27 staying out here. He had pit a couple laps earlier to try and A, repair damage, and B, gain a little bit of time on the rest of the field. But the 2 New England Cruisers cars are the ones that are highest among them that stayed out, Bronson Minnick and Eric Monaco. Varga got credited with leading that last lap on pit road, but I expect this 32 to pick up a bonus point next time they cross the line, probably when he makes his pit stop. Yeah,
you see a lot of cars with damage, and it's probably a bit of a decision if those teams want to repair their cars on pit road, because we've discussed about how much of a difference the damage makes at this track, and it really depends. But there's a lot of damaged race cars that have been able to get by, but I do think some teams lost time on pit road trying to fix up their cars a little. But who knows? That could be a good thing.
You never know, and only the guys on top of the pit box truly have the answer to those questions. Would love to pick their brains one day. But going through turn 19, here comes Bronson Minnick. Will he make the left turn on the pit road? He will, and I would fully expect Eric Monaco, Nicky Martinez, Devin Fair to all hit pit road this time. This will easily get them to the end.
Yep, and it's going to be a pivotal moment of the race for those drivers as it was for everyone else. More cars hitting pit road now, of course.
So Kanalka pits, Riley Hooper pits, and a lot of cars are actually stuck on pit road getting a lengthy repair done. They're easily going to fall a couple laps down as a result of that. But Bronson Minnick does take a point for leading a lap in this race, and that is important for him. He needs as many points as he can get. But Braden Varga is now going to reassume the race lead. And how about that 0-1 of Cody Goforth? He gained a ton of time on the zero. The gap between them now just over a second at the line.
That's what we were talking about. A big shakeup could happen during these pit stops, and Goforth has done it, gaining over 7 seconds on the leader just from the pit cycle. Yeah,
and you see these overcutters that pitted later, like Bronson Minnick and Devin Fair, they didn't fare too badly as a result of this. Minnick's now running third. Devin Fair now gets past McMillan. That should be a battle for about 5th or 6th at the moment. Much better than where they were running before.
It's leading to a lot more action on the racetrack too, I can say. It looks like there's more battles going on than, where we left off with the cycle, because you have cars that are, in a couple lap different tires, a couple different laps into their run.
My question is, what is the margin going to be once this cycles out and once Minnick drops back to his proper position on the racetrack? Because Goforth is much closer to Varga now than anybody's been this entire race. If he's got a good enough car under him to pump in some really good lap times, he could get right to the bumper at that zero, and then the real fun begins.
Yep, you said it best. It does look like the Owen could be gaining, and if he gets close enough in one of these sharp corners, there could be a bold move made. We've already seen a lot made, so if the 0-1 wants to win that badly, it's probably going to come in one of those very sharp corners like turn 1 or turn 11.
And so far, we're coming to 6 laps to go at the line for these leaders, and Cody Goforth would love nothing more than to get to victory lane at Circuit of the Americas. He's had a rough start to 2024 as well. He crashed out at Daytona, and he had a middle-of-the-road finish at Gateway. But you can see now all these cars parked it in pit road, on the far end of pit road, getting repair work done. They're all going to lose a handful of laps to these leaders, but that's the price you pay when you make those bold moves and they don't work out.
Yep, lots of cars, low contact on pit road there, giving even more damage to some of those cars, but some teams who thought their cars just couldn't make it to the end, they have to repair those cars and try to get them to the finish. It's going to hurt their day, but that would probably be better than a DNF.
And meanwhile, Cody Goforth has erased that deficit down to just half a second at the line. I'm sure Varga gained a little bit of time for 1 and 2, but now through the S's, depending on who gets through these sequence of corners better, it could allow the 0-1 to gain a little more time, because next time they cross the line, it'll be 5 laps to go from Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, it does seem like each driver may have certain parts of the track that they're better at than the other, but we'll have to see who the overall better car is. And right now, I think it could be Cody Goforth, but even if he catches the zero, how easy would the zero let him get by? Probably not that easy.
No, this is for a win, and for Varga, it would be his first career win in the Nitro National Series, and it would check another box off his checklist. If he were to win today, he'd only need a win in the Truck Series to be the first driver ever to get a win in all 3 series of one-up competition, and that is a milestone everybody wants to get. But Varga still has 5.5 laps to go before he can lay his hands on that trophy.
Yeah, big achievement indeed. Something that he would be proud of in his career. But Cody Goforth wants to try and get his shot at victory lane. He's still there, closing in on the 0. Not that quickly, but there's plenty of time left in the race for either car to make a mistake.
And this sequence of corners right here is all about flow. It's all about rhythm. You really want to get through these corners cleanly before setting up for the big momentum builder that is this corner right here. 16, 17, now through turn 18 they go. Go for braking hard for turn 19. That is a big momentum corner, and Goforth wants to try and keep it on the racetrack. Unable to do so, but that's okay. Plenty of runoff for these guys to work with.
Yeah, these big corners make a big difference. It takes a lot of skill to make sure you hit them right, and it can make a difference on the following straightaway as well. As you see the gap about to come in here from half a second to 9/10, meaning the 01 has lost a bit of time, but he's still within the zero's mirror. He's still got a shot.
Yeah, Cody Goforth is not out of this race by any stretch, but I imagine everyone behind them is going to need some sort of miracle or a collision between the leaders to have any shot at winning this race, because they are now 14 and a half seconds off the lead. So any hope of them winning this race is going to come down to either of these two crashing into the other or having a mechanical issue of some sort. But these drivers know better than to needlessly get into an accident. And these cars have proven robust here today.
Right, there's no cautions here at both courses, so you can't, try to prey on a yellow flag to bunch the field back together. It's just not going to happen. So a lot of these cars, winning isn't really on their mind anymore, realistically, but there are some very close intervals, especially between, like, 3rd and 7th, so they're going to try to get every spot they can. It's going to matter towards the championship for those who are in the hunt.
And among the top 10, everybody in the top 10 except for 6th place Devin Fair and 7th place Jake McMillan are in that championship hunt. So every point matters for those guys. It's just a matter of trying to execute at the end of this race. And look at all the cars on the ticker that are now a lap or more down in the pit lane, including some really strong contenders like Ryan Griffin in the 92.
A lot of it came down to that starting position in that first lap, and cars trying to get home with those with that damage that some of them just couldn't handle to the end. But it's worked out for some guys, like Braden Varka, who seems to be gaining a lot of ground and go for it now, it looks like.
And now we'll be coming to 4 laps to go at the line. What can Cody do at this point in the race to try and close the gap? He needs to be more aggressive on the brakes. He needs to throw it into the corners more. But as he does that, he runs the risk of totaling the car. So there's a fine balance you gotta strike to try and make sure you, A, bring the car home in one piece, and B, make sure you can get it to victory lane.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but only the driver knows what to do, what they're gonna do here. We'll just have to wait and see how bad the 01 wants it and when he's gonna make that move. It looks like he's gained a 10th on that lap, and he seems to be closing in now.
It might be a matter of him recharging his stuff to try and make another charge at the 0, because I don't think Varga is running at 100% right now. He's only running as fast as he needs to keep the 01 behind. Once Cody gets closer to the 0's back bumper, that's when he puts the pedal down and he can pick up more time. He doesn't need to pick up that much time right now. It's just a matter of managing the gap, as they say.
Yep, he's keeping that 0-1 in his front in his windshield right now, trying to just keep up the pace and get those flows correct, like you were saying, a lot of flow on this track, and also just nailing those tight corners to see them do there.
It's just a matter of timing and execution. And you see Bronson Minnick back here now 16 seconds off the lead going into turn 11. Realistically, they're not going to be able to win this race. It's now a 1v1 showdown between Braden Varga and Cody Goforth to try and win this race. Chevrolet versus Toyota, Team Duke versus Fair & Co. Racing. One of these two is going to celebrate in victory lane, and the other is going to wonder what could have been.
Two very strong teams, two very strong manufacturers. Of course, it's going to be a pretty nice rivalry. We'll have to see if it's going to be sportsman-like one, or if it could get a little aggressive. We're just gonna wait and see, because I do feel like something is going to happen in these final few laps of the race.
Next time they cross the line, which is not too far away from now, we'll be hitting 3 laps to go in the race. And that is an important thing for Braden Varga. He needs to see the laps wind down, because he just gets closer and closer to that victory. He's got to keep the L1 behind, and he's been doing it well so far. It's just a matter of staying there for the rest of the race.
And these cars, in the meanwhile, even while they're trying to, distance themselves, or while they're trying to, do what they need to do on the track, they're pulling away by like 4 seconds over these other cars. So they're just far and away the fastest cars on the track, and it's nice to see that we had these two here to battle it out in the end, all on their own.
And Goforth gained another 2/10 on that last lap, so that's a good sign for the Fair & Co. Racing team, who, remember, this is the driver who finished runner-up in the championship to his teammate Zachary DeLello, who now races on Sundays. So Cody Goforth is now the lead driver of this team, and he's got to prove his worth, because I'm sure his job is safe, but he just wants that extra insurance, and a win goes a long way.
At this pace, he's going to cash with 0, but passing is a different story for sure. It's going to come down to how each driver wants to handle this situation.
And look at Goforth, hard on the brakes into turn 11. He closed that gap in a very big way, 2-0, but he goes a little wide on the exit of 11. That might cost him down the long back straightaway, where momentum is everything. Coming down the back straightaway, 2.5 laps to go, and these two are far and away the class of the field. It's just a matter of who wants it more.
Lots of stories to be had in the top 10, but the show to watch right now is for the lead as the 0-1 sends it all the way almost to the back bumper of the 0.
Oh,
it's going to be probably, here's where the attempt to pass is going to come in.
It's going to be
next couple corners.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to make the pass through this sequence, but maybe going into 19 and 20, if the 1 can hang on to this 0 car, that would be a great opportunity, 19 and 20, and if not there, then up the hill to turn 1. But another thing to keep in mind, the closer Goforth gets to Varga, the more the dirty air off the 0 starts to impact the L1. That could be why he's falling back a little bit, but he's still now much closer now than he was before.
Right, it could make it a little difficult to pass. We have a lot of these, corners where you can really fit it in deep. We've seen cars do it. I think we've seen the 0-1 do it a little bit. So who knows what the 0-1 could do to try to make the pass for the lead. We have 2 laps to go, not too much time left. He just needs to try to keep his pace and look for the right moment to try and take this win at Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, the gap's down to half a second now between Goforth and Varga. This is going to be an important lap right here, because next time they cross the line, it'll be the white flag, and time is running out for Cody Goforth. He knows he's in a position to win this race, but he's got to catch. And like you said, catching is one thing, passing is another. But I have a feeling as soon as he gets to the back bumper at a 0, he's going to want to make that pass, because you much rather want to be in the defending position here than you want to be in the offensive position, because at least when you're defending, you control the race.
Right, but it also comes down to pressure and looking into the mirror and not letting that get to your head too much. You got to see what's in front of you as well to make sure you run those fast laps that can outpace your opponent, or at least keep you up front. And right now they're about equal pace, but I don't think the 0-1's going to give up that easily.
Heading down the back straightaway, coming to the white flag this time by, and Goforth doing whatever he can to try and catch the 0, but he's going to have to be really hard on the brakes into turn 12 to catch back up. We'll see if he's able to do it. Hard on the brakes going into this tight left-hander. He does close the gap. Will it be enough, though, as we head into the stadium section of 13 and through 15?
These cars have gone through so many corners today, and a lot of them gone through some wear and tear, but they're giving it all they have right now. And we've seen the 0 and the 0-1 be the 2 greatest. And here's where we're going to decide which one takes home the checkered flag at Circuit of the Americas, as we have other cars with damage entering pit road, a big heartbreaker at the end of their race.
Yeah, they just couldn't quite make it, could they? And that's a real shame. But they will bounce back, I'm sure, for the next race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But here comes Goforth now, into turn 19, hard on the brakes. He's going to catch up to the zero, but it's gonna be very close between these two. Goforth again on the brakes through turn 20. The bell lap here, white flag in the air for Braden Varga. Got 3.4 miles left to hold off the hard-charging Cody Goforth.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that could happen on this lap, but one of the greatest passing opportunities is right here at turn 1.
Didn't happen, though. Goforth did not try to pass there. I think he's trying to set up for turn 12. That's where he's been the best all day long, is in turn 12 at the end of the long back straightaway. His job now, stay close to the zero through the S's and see if he can't try and make a move early, maybe into turn 11.
There's just a few other chances to do it, and the 01's got to look for that moment to strike while the zero hits his marks and doesn't make any big mistakes under the pressure.
And you see them both going off into the grass. They're putting everything on the line for this race victory. Down into turn 11 they go for the final time today. Varga, the gap closes between him and Goforth. Will Goforth try and make a move at the end of turn 12? This is his only chance right here in the 12, because if he doesn't make the move here, he's going to have to hope for a kamikaze move into 19 or 20.
There is not much time left for the 01 to do it. He's caught up. He just can't get that final little bit of ground, but it's not over. He's looking for the pass right here.
Oh, here he goes, down in the turn 12. Goforth on Varga, side by side through turn 12. Pushes the zero wide. This is the opportunity Cody Goforth's been looking for, but now that gives Varga the advantage going into 13. This set of switchback corners, that allows Varga to get back ahead, but Goforth still not giving up going into 15.
He made an attempt and a dang good one, but it's not over yet.
So coming through the final set of corners, 16, 17, 18, Braden Varga, with the toughest challenge of his one-up career so far, has been able to hold off Cody Goforth, but he's still got 2 corners left to try and hang on. Goforth's got to try and make a move going into 19. Nothing doing there. He's got to pull out, make a deep dive in the 20, but I don't think he's got enough time to make it. Through turn 20 for the final time, Braden Varga's held off Cody Goforth in the toughest of conditions, and he is going to get his first career Nitro National Series win here in the heart of Texas. Braden Varga gets the win at Circuit of the Americas' first career win.
A well-deserved one, too. He did everything he needed to do. He had a very fast car and some very professional laps, and the one gave it a good shot as well, and I think they can't be too upset about how that ended because they had a very good performance today.
Best result of the season for Cody Goforth. If he comes from second, can't be too upset about that. He'll get him next week at Las Vegas. But coming home 13 seconds off the lead, Bronson Minnick did a good job, honestly, from pole position. He led a lap under the pit cycle, and about as much as you could hope for with the dominant run Braden Varga had. Still a good run from the 32, and boy did he need it. Henry Thomas comes home 4th. Devin Fair on the final lap got the 09 for 5th. Blair will finish in 6th. That's still a strong run for her first start of the season. McMillan comes home 7th. Skylar Taylor brings it home 8th. We didn't mention him all day long, and he's going to leave this race with the points lead as well. That's a strong run for the other Fair & Co. car. Robert Weaver 9th. Eric Monaco completes the top 10 just in front of Wyatt O'Quinn and James Ellison. But boy, that was an incredible race from start to finish. The 2 leaders gave it absolutely everything, but in the end, fastest car prevailed.
It was a fun battle to watch, and some good battles further back in the top 10, and I'm sure deeper in the field too. A lot of cars didn't have things go the way they wanted, but they had to compete against each other to see if they could get their cars to the end, and I'm sure that made a difference for a lot of the teams today to try and salvage as many points as they can. You had even a car with an accident on the towards the end of the race, it looks like, finishing on the lead lap, but a DNF.
That was Earl Sear in the 3. We're gonna find out what happened to him and so many of the others. We save our replays till the end on the road course races, and we're gonna bring those to you soon. But that's a tough way to end the race for Earl Sear. He was having a decent run going in the top 20, Now it's all for naught, and he's going to have to watch his teammates celebrate in victory lane instead. So this was what put Logan Williams out of the race. It looks like he's going to, on the opening lap, got real hard on the brakes. Still looks like McFadden and Reed were trying to slow up a little more. That sends the 28 into a spin, and it sends the 83 out of the race on the opening lap.
Yeah, hard enough hit. You can see why. The braking zones are just very important, that you'll have some cars brake a bit more, brake a bit less, or just have a not the ideal way to break into that corner.
And here's what took place in the S's. They were 4 wide heading into turn 4 and 5. That's not going to work here at COTA. You see Maston Rimmel get hooked by Ryan Arnold, and Ryan Griffin get a piece, David Meskey, the Daytona winner, and Ashton Blevins with the hardest hit of all. That is a tough way to end your first road course race, really, before it even began.
The chaos on lap 1 really is something to behold, and that shows it right there. 4 wide through the S is something nearly impossible to make work, and it led to a calamity for some of these cars.
Take a look at Ryan Griffin's start. He started back in 36th, and it's just a stack up from the opening few corners, and yeah, that's just a lot of cars going for different spots on the racetrack, and not everyone could fit.
Yeah, it's like being in heavy traffic on the interstate. There's just so many cars going different speeds into that corner, and it's hard to look out for all of them. It can lead to, the end of your day.
And here was Ryan Griffin's part in the S's crash, and he just sent the 42 in. Oh, man. That was a very fortunate break, though, for that 21, that was not a higher speed impact for Ashton Blevins. That could have been a lot worse than it was. So it looks as though Earl Sear was actually coming to the white flag in a pretty good position. Oh, he gets into the back of Kanalka, tries to make a pit stop way too late, and then into the barrels he goes. Into the tires he goes. That was a matter of him trying to make a commitment to pit road too late to try and fix the damage, and that put an end to his day.
Wow, that has to be one of the most frustrating ways to go out of a race. That is not something I've seen.
But that is what did Earl Sear in today, and he's going to have a lot of work to do going to Vegas. But that is going to do it for us from Circuit of the Americas. A fantastic race from start to finish, and we got a well-deserving winner, a first-time winner in Braden Varga. He's going to be celebrating plenty going into the off week. So, from Miles Mashburn and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Circuit of the Americas. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 4 of the Nitro National Series season. Congratulations to Braden Varga on the win, and for Cody Goforth, that first win of the season's got to be right around the corner with the way they've been running as of late.